Welcome. You are watching a Lotus live stream concert. My name is Aaron Jonah Lewis. I'm very happy to be here. I like to play the fiddle and the banjo, and I like to share the stories behind the music as well. There are songs that tell a story in the song, and then there are songs where you have to go looking for the story, or you hear the story when you learn the song. And it's nice to have more dimensions than one to the music. It's not just some sounds. It's people, it's places, it's stories that connect us. I'm going to start out with a fiddle tune. Not going to tell you the whole story behind it because we'll never get through any other music. But this is a tune that I often play for a square dance. It's called Ricketts Hornpipe. Thank you, and that's just my song of welcome tonight. Got a lot of cool material to share with you, and a special guest who's joining me halfway through the show. So don't go anywhere. Now I'm going to start out with a song that does have a story I'd like to share. It's a true story, which makes it even stranger. And it's a story that has its roots right here in Michigan. In case you don't know, I'm in Detroit, Michigan. And this is a song that goes back about 100 years. 1909, I believe, was the year that the House of David was founded. And by the 1920s, it was a nationwide phenomenon. This was sort of a group that these days we would probably call a cult. But in those days, to be polite, you would call them a sect. They had a charismatic leader. They, kind of had their own ways of doing things. And they were kind of peculiar. But one thing that really got a lot of people's attention was their music. They had amazing jazz bands and brass bands and string bands that would go out all over the country to try and get converts. And they made enough of a splash that this song was written for them. Now, I'm not going to sing you the original Tin Pan Alley version of the song. I'm going to sing you the version that I got from Fiddler Arthur Smith, who was a Tennessee fiddler and one of my fiddle heroes of all time. So this is Fiddler Arthur Smith's version of, oops, where did I put my set list? I don't need it right now, but, oh, there it is. Thank you. The House of David Blues. Gee, but ain't it grand, can't you hear that band play those House of David blues? All the folks in town are gathering round to see the funny things they do. When ham was selling for $1 a pound, I ate so many rabbits, made me hop all around. Gee, but ain't it grand, can't you hear that band play those House of David blues? Gee, but ain't it grand, can't you hear that band play those House of David blues? All the folks in town are gathering round to see the funny things they do. Well, a Dominic, a rooster, and a bow-legged hen, and they go together, but they ain't no kin. Gee, but ain't it grand, can't you hear that band play those House of David blues? Thanks. Now, I want to say I'm a big fan of the Lotus organization, and I have been for a while, but I haven't actually, consummated any gigs through them. I was booked with Lindsay McCaw of the Corn Potato String Band to do a gig. What? Okay, if there's a thing to say, just say it. And it was canceled because of the situation we're in right now. So this is what we're doing instead. But even under these circumstances, they're still doing great work, bringing music, art, and education out to the people. So I hope you're enjoying this tonight. I'm going to play some more fiddle for you tonight. I just thought I'd just divide the concert up into the fiddle portion and the banjo portion. So if you're liking the fiddle stuff, you're going to love the banjo stuff. And if you're not liking the fiddle stuff that much, stick around because it's about to get even better. But I'm going to play another fiddle for you now in a different tuning. I'm going to play a tune for you I got from Benny Thomason, the king of the Texas fiddlers, as some people call him. This is one of his tunes called Dry and Dusty. Wake up, darling Polly. What makes you sleep so sound? Here comes some highway robbers gonna tear your playhouse down. Wake up, darling Corey, and go fetch me my gun. Lord, I ain't no man for trouble, but I'll die before I run. Now last time I seen darling Corey, she was sitting by the deep blue sea with a 44 around her and a banjo on her knee. Dig a hole in the middle, dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. Dig a hole in the middle, to lay little Corey down. It's a song called Darling Corey. I learned that from an Art Stamper recording. Stamper, great fiddler, great inspiration to many people. Now I'm gonna put my banjo hat on. This isn't really my banjo hat. This is my my fez of mystical inspiration. I think the fez has a connotation of mystery and of the exotic, and I really could give you a whole dissertation on how that relates to this music that I'm going to play for you. But let me start with just playing a piece, and then I'll talk a little bit, try to keep it short, give you some context for this music. This is different banjo music than you often get to hear. You know what? I forgot. I have this remote control for doing colors. I was going to do a different color for that last one, but what do we do for this one? I think green-ish. Greenish? I don't know if that's really coming through anyway. This is a piece from about 100 years ago by a British composer, banjo composer. It was written for the banjo. His name was Emil Grimshaw. And the name of this piece is The Banshee. If you like, you can imagine there's two sections to this piece. The first section is kind of peaceful, tranquil. I'd like to picture a lonely house on a hill. It's a dark and stormy night, but inside the house it's cozy and warm. There's a fire in the fireplace, and whoever, it's yourself perhaps, or someone you imagine is sitting by the fire with a glass of something nice and toasty, maybe a nice book, and just enjoying maybe some pleasant memories. Then the second part of the tune is when the door bursts wide open and the storm comes tearing through the house, knocking books off the shelf, knocking plates out of the cupboard, and just making an incredible, terrifying mess. And that's called The Banshee. The Banshee by Emil Grimshaw. Now I want to tell you the story of the banjo, not the Banshee. But first I have to remember to tell you that you can send me money. I'm missing all of my work. The period between April and July was supposed to kind of make all the money for the year for me, for the most part, most of the money. Let me keep holding this up. And the gig with what?
It's pinned on here too.
So
you can see it in the comments.
So I don't need to hold up. You can see it in the comments. Is it also the Patreon in the comments?
Nope.
Patreon.com/Aaron Jonah Lewis is a nice way to provide us continuing support and get lots of amusing, content from me, like videos and stories and songs that I post. I also wanted to mention this album. I was going to be doing an album release tour overseas and in the U.S. This is I'm the most proud of. I'm so proud of this project. I got 1,000 of these printed. It's the best job I've ever done, and I love the artwork too. It's a deluxe package. It's got a how many pages insert? 26-page insert. So if you want to really get more of the story, get this album. You can find it on my website, aaronjonahlewis.com. It'll link you to the old-time tiki player. So I'll just leave it at that. But this style of banjo music is called classic banjo. And to as briefly as possible, this is really a deep and complicated story, and it's very worth looking into because it's often not discussed that much, and it is really the roots of American history, of American cultural history, American popular music and culture. But if we go back to even before the United States was the United States and it was a colony, British colony, slavery goes back a long time, and the roots of our American banjo are in Western Africa, where people were abducted and forced into slavery. And the banjo was something that it was an object that they were able to create out of basically nothing. They had nothing. They had no money. They had no freedom, and yet they managed to make banjos. And in that way, it's a very powerful instrument because it has the power to bring us back to those memories, as well as to think of how important it must have been to the enslaved people who this was one of their only sources of comfort and joy. It was pretty quickly appropriated by white people who saw how meaningful it was to them and wanted a piece of that culture that they didn't have themselves. And if we just fast forward to the time period when this music that I'm playing for you now was really popular, that's getting us to the turn of the 20th century, the late 1800s. One thing I want you to know about this music, which is called classic banjo music, is what we call it now. In those days, it was called guitar style banjo. I'm not going to get into it, but as much as I would like to, they're going to play banjo music now. No, what I want to say is that if there's only one thing that you'll remember from all this, is that 100, 120 years ago, this style of music was the most popular form of music in the English-speaking world, in England as well as in the US. And it's since been almost entirely forgotten. So I'm trying to share the stories of this music and share the music itself, because I think it's very interesting, and it's sort of a missing link between, what people maybe call banjo-style banjo, or plantation banjo, or minstrel banjo. The missing link between that, which is also not very well known, and bluegrass, which is what most people are familiar with. And we're going to play some bluegrass later too, and I love bluegrass. That was my entry point into all of this. I'm trying to keep it short, and therefore I'm rambling and not being very coherent. Suffice to say, this music was the first time in history that banjo players could appear on stage without blackface makeup. That's a whole another story to get into, the minstrel shows, and how they pretty much formed the foundation of all of our popular culture that came afterwards. But this was a turning point. Very exciting, and I'd love to share more about it. But I'm going to play this tune. This is a tune by another, or I should say a piece, by another British composer, whose name is eluding me at the moment. The name of the piece is Queen of the Burlesque. Right? Yes, Queen of the Burlesque. Doing good. Okay. Thank you for having me at Lotus live stream concerts. That was Queen of the Burlesque by Arthur Tilley. I remember that as soon as I started playing it and wanted to stop and shout out his name. Now, I forgot about the whole delay thing, so this isn't really going to work. But I was going to ask, would you rather hear a piece by an American or by a Russian composer? I'll say whoever answers first is going to be the winner. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to do like a voting thing, but whoever says American or Russian.
Still waiting.
It's going to be a few seconds here. But I also want to tell you about this CD, you guys. I'm so proud of it. I want you to get a copy, and don't just download it because the liner notes are incredible. And if you download it, sadly, you only get half of the tracks. Russian. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
That's so exciting.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to play a piece that forms the basis for another piece that we're going to play later on. This piece was first performed in 1892, and it was so popular that anytime the composer appeared, people demanded that he play it. And he even said at one point, both. Okay, yeah, I will do a piece by an American composer. I will. By a few American composers, but this is the only one by a Russian. So this is Rachmaninoff's famous Prelude in C-sharp minor, which has been transposed by Emil Grimshaw for the banjo to the key of E minor. Now just pay attention to the first three notes, because they're going to come back again in another piece that we're going to play in a little bit. So it's a little memory game. See if you can remember this. Now, in those days, the composers of popular music and the composers of what we now call classical music were alive at the same time. Classical music wasn't a distant thing from way in the past. It was alive, it was new, it was fresh. And this piece that I'm going to play for you now was popular, like a popular tune, and it was printed in sheet music form and given different titles, and it was hugely popular. So everyone was playing it. And the piece that we're going to play later was written 3 decades later, 3 decades after this was first performed. So it had a lasting impact. Some of you may even recognize it. This is Rachmaninoff's Prelude in C-sharp minor, arranged by Emil Grimshaw for the banjo in the key of E minor.
Well, to the dining room stage.
Welcome, Grace.
Thank
How are you?
Oh, I'm really good. How are you?
Just fine, thank you. I'm having a blast.
This
This
is-
is what I love to be doing.
You got a pretty fun crowd watching you.
That's great. I'm excited to look at the comments later. If I wasn't so nearsighted, I would be, looking at them now. But we're gonna play a piece for you that was written by Joe Morley, who is the subject of this CD. He wrote all these pieces. That's him there, right next to me. He's the one standing. Joe Morley, I call him the Mozart of the banjo because he was a child prodigy. He was a prolific composer, and his music kind of represents the like a good starting point if you want to learn about this music, because everything he wrote was just wonderful. It's very accessible. It's fun. It's lively. It's expressive. And we're gonna play one of his pieces for you now. This one is on the album, and it's called Palladium Rag. All right, Palladium Rag. Now, we're going to play a piece by an American composer.
Can we change the color?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. I thought of that.
I don't know if green is my best.
Is that better?
Yeah. Did you get my rider I sent you about the gels I like on the lights?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do anything here.
Ooh, that's nice. No, it's green again. Great.
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 Alrighty. Okay, this is the piece that's going to take us back to the Rachmaninoff. This was written by an American composer who, just like in the spirit of being American, wanted to capitalize on someone else's work and turn it into a profit machine for himself, which he did. This was his most popular work. This was written by George L. Cobb, who wrote a lot of other great pieces. But this one is called The Russian Rag, and it makes use of those first three notes from the Rachmaninoff, which people were known to burst into applause upon just hearing those three notes. So he thought, I can have a hit if I use those notes.
Well, give me a piece of that.
So we'll play it for you now. The Russian Rag. Oh, Grace, that was perfect. Wow. That feels really good to pull that off. That's a very special piece for us, for me. Now, I want to just take a second and tell you about the Patreon once again, because if you subscribe to the Patreon, you're going to get some really cool videos, like, very frequently, at least for as long as this is going on. Grace has been helping me make a video every day, and we've been posting them on Instagram and Facebook, so you can follow me on there. It's instagram.com/Aaron Jonah Lewis and facebook.com/Aaron Jonah Lewis. And patreon.com/Aaron Jonah Lewis gets you extra videos, extra excitement, extra fun. And I'll just mention one more time that this is a Lotus live stream concert, and this is how you can support me and Grace. And we're going to play the tune that got posted today. So if you are already watching... No? Oh, yes.
We're ahead a day.
Hey, we're on a different time zone, people.
This is a sneak preview.
Yes. So if you like some excitement, now the big difference between what we're going to do now and what's getting posted tomorrow is that we're sitting down now, and when we play bluegrass, we usually stand up. It's just too complicated to. This has been bugging me. I want to like show the tops of our heads more than I want to show my knees.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good.
Your knees look great.
Thanks, though. I've been working out.
Yeah, I can tell.
Okay, this is a piece by Kenny Baker. I've been posting a Kenny Baker tune for the past, I don't know, week and a half. Kenny Baker is my original #1 fiddle hero. When I first started learning bluegrass or any kind of fiddle music, I didn't know what to do, and people said, listen to Kenny Baker. So I listened to Kenny Baker, and I was blown away. I'm still trying to figure out how to do what he does. I'll never get to be like him, sound like him, but I'll sound like me trying to sound like him, which is still acceptable, I think, to some people. Anyway, this is one of his less often played tunes. This is kind of an unusual tune. It's called Doc Harris the Fisherman. It's off of his 1970 album, Baker's Dozen.
It's funny his name is Doc and he's a fisherman.
Yeah, well, doctors can fish too, you know. Fish are people too.
No, fish are fish.
Flowers are like people, though. We're going to get to that.
I'd love to hear more about that.
Here we go. Doc Harris the Fisherman. 1, 2, 3. Doc Harris the Fisherman. Wonder what's the story behind that one. That's a story I do not know.
Maybe he lost his fishing license.
We're gonna just play a couple more numbers for you tonight, and they're gonna require a guitar, which I forgot to take out of the case. And the good news is, I promise it's already in tune. So I'll be right back, and just don't go anywhere.
You guys have banjos? Oh, yeah, you do.
I like banjos.
Do you like better, banjos or candy?
Banshee. it's maybe it means I'm really grown up, or maybe it means I'm even more childish than a child. But I choose banjo over candy. I love candy, but I couldn't live without a banjo.
You can only have so much candy. You can never have enough banjo.
And there's no guilt associated with the banjo. I think.
Well, I wouldn't say guilt. There's shame associated with the banjo, but some people just don't feel shame.
Banjo is good for your health.
Yeah.
By the way, folks, if anyone out there is interested in lessons, contact me via Facebook Messenger or email, whatever. I love to teach banjo. I also teach fiddle. I love to teach fiddle. I could do some beginner guitar, old time guitar rhythm kind of stuff. I also teach mandolin. I didn't play that tonight, but for our second to last number, we're gonna play a tune from the Delmore Brothers that I used to sing with my dear friend Ben Belcher, who is in Alabama. I wish we could be stuck in the same place together. Anyways, I've been playing music with him longer than anyone else, so I miss him a lot. I also forgot to mention that the Russian Rag is so special because it's what got me connected with Curly Miller and Carol Ann Rose, who are the old 78s. I met them at Clifftop because of the tune Russian Rag. And if I hadn't met them, I don't know if I would have ever learned anything about classic banjo. They're the reason that I was exposed to it. And they're the reason I met Greg Adams, who has become my banjo mentor, and how this whole journey began. It began right there, Clifftop, 2000, I don't know, 6 maybe, or 7 or 8, I'm not sure. Anyway, that's off topic now, because we're in the present. That was the past.
Okay.
We're going to play the Delmore Brothers.
Everything about banjo comes full circle.
Yeah. Guitar, too.
There's a circle in that, too.
Yeah. All right, this one's called Don't Let My Ramblin'.
Are we in tune with each other?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I told you this was going to be in tune no matter what.
I wasn't worried about that.
This one's called Don't Let My Ramblin' Bother Your Mind. Ready?
Yes.
Woke up this morning feeling blue. Woke up this morning feeling blue. I dreamed I saw my little honey baby leaving on that number 2. Don't let my rambling bother your mind. Don't let this rambling round bother your mind. I love my girl, I surely do. I love my girl, I surely do. And if she ever starts trifling on me, it's hard to tell just what I'll do. Don't let my rambling bother your mind. Don't let this rambling round bother your mind. I've seen the sunshine and the rain. I've seen the sunshine and the rain. I learned a lesson from a false-hearted girl, and I don't want to learn again. Don't let my rambling bother your mind. Don't let this rambling round bother your mind. Don't ever want to settle down. Don't ever want to settle down. I had some trouble with it, sugar babe, but mine gonna affect my grave to leave this town. Don't let my rambling bother your mind. Don't let this rambling round bother your mind. Don't let my rambling bother your mind. Don't let this rambling round bother your mind. Beautiful.
Thank you. You are beautiful.
Bluegrassiful.
Ooh.
Now,
Grass-tastic.
just before we play our final number, I want to say thanks to all of you for coming out. This is it's everyone. You've heard it so many times. It's a strange time. I don't know what to say about it. We're just doing the best we can. Try to keep laughing. You know, keep finding those things that you love. Stay inspired. Keep learning. That'll keep you happy too. A lot of the ways that we're able to connect with each other are restricted to screens, but try to find ways to connect with people without screens too. I've been making a study of it. I think writing letters is a nice one, and kind of like friendly displays from afar are nice too, like when you're out walking around. Anyways, that's another topic.
And support your favorite musical artists, especially independent artists like us, because we're out of work right now. But we want to keep making music for everybody.
Tune back in. I can't remember the name of the group, but they're from Finland, and I think they're going to be awesome. I forget when they're playing too. Is Sunday or Monday? Very soon. So look at the Lotus Facebook page and tune into that. And thanks to Lotus for having us. And I look forward to participating in the Lotus program, whether it be the Blossoms or the festival or both in the future. Good people, good work, good art and education. And now we're going to play a seasonal number to bring us out here. I think some people have been doing a lot more baking than usual, such as us. Some people have been doing more gardening than usual, such as my sister, whose garden I got to see today. This one goes out to all the gardeners. It's a song that I got from Don Reno, the greatest banjo player who ever lived, at least bluegrass banjo player who lived. And the song is called Flowers Are Like People. Today in my garden I wandered alone. The flowers you once tended, their splendor is gone. Just like me, they miss you. They wilted and died. Life don't seem worth living. I'm empty inside. Flowers are like people. Without love they die. Their beauty forever is gone like a sigh. The seeds I will cherish and plant them next spring. Then maybe you'll come back and love us again. I remember a bouquet I once picked for you. You looked like an angel when I placed it there. Your love like a bouquet soon withered and now my head like the flowers in sorrow will bow. Flowers are like people, without love they die. Their beauty forever is gone like a sigh. The seeds I will cherish and plant them next spring. Then maybe you'll come Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Great weekend. Goodbye. I'm just going to leave this up for a couple minutes.
Kyle Rhodes is waving. Awesome.
I was so surprised. It was just like, Russian, American, both.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to turn these off now.
So, I did a watch party and it's watching the comments on that.
That's 3 when you